Have you seen how blood flow restriction training is like totally changing the game for muscle gains? It's fascinating how this method uses specialized bands on the limbs to create a low oxygen environment without heavy
Yeah,
weights.
absolutely. It's pretty wild. Instead of the old more is better heavy weights approach, BFR training really shows that lighter loads can trigger those powerful muscle building responses.
Exactly. It's like you apply these bands or cuffs that partially restrict venous blood flow, yet allow arterial blood to, keep coming. This creates a hypoxic condition that mimics the effects of
I get it.
high-intensity training.
Right, and what I think is really interesting is how the protocol emphasizes short, intense sessions, sometimes just 12 minutes a week, can double your muscle gains compared to traditional training. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, it totally is. I mean, think about it. Using like 20-30% of your one rep max through high repetitions, typically 15 to 30 reps per set, and doing 3 to 4 sets with quick 30-60-second rests, that's a recipe for achieving high metabolic stress without
Absolutely.
overloading joints.
I always wondered how all that metabolic stress actually works. Could you explain a bit more on that?
Sure, it's like when you create that metabolic buildup, your muscles experience a flood of not only build signals, but also hormonal responses that are very similar to what we see during heavy lifting. But the twist here is you're minimizing the joint stress.
Yeah, that makes sense. And speaking of joint stress, isn't this method a huge win for people recovering from injuries or even older adults who might not handle heavy loads very well?
Exactly. It's one of the most promising applications. Rehabilitation patients, seniors, even athletes in a busy competitive season can benefit from this method. Since it uses lighter loads, you still get that muscle preservation and growth without compromising healing tissues or straining joints.
Right. But I have a question. How do people determine the right pressure? I mean, applying too little wouldn't work, but too much could be risky, right?
That's a really good point. The key is in the proper implementation. The correct amount of pressure is critical. You want about 5 to 7 out of 10 tightness, so you should be able to fit 1 or 2 fingers under the band. With the professional Katsu systems, you get precise control, but even consumer-level pneumatic bands are designed to offer reliable pressure
Totally.
feedback.
I get that, but don't you think that relying on such equipment could be a barrier for people who are just starting out, especially considering the premium prices for professional options?
Well, that's where consumer-friendly solutions come in. With prices ranging between like $50 to $200, these affordable pneumatic bands make BFR training accessible. You just need to be extra vigilant about safety and following the guidelines properly.
Yeah, that's reassuring. Speaking of safety, I know that maintaining proper application time is crucial. They recommend not exceeding 20 minutes per session and ensuring you remove the bands between exercises, right?
Yup, exactly. And it's also important to know the contraindications. People with cardiovascular issues, clotting disorders, or significant varicose veins should avoid it, or at least work with a
Absolutely.
professional. Safety first.
And it's cool how the method is not just for rehabilitation, but also for regular training. For instance, athletes can use it for off-season development or even maintain muscle during in-season competition when recovery time is limited.
Right. It's like the ultimate hybrid technique. You can use traditional heavy training on some days and integrate micro sessions of BFR training, sometimes as short as 6 minutes, to hit those lagging muscle groups without additional fatigue.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. You know, it almost sounds like a personal trainer designed just for your muscles, creating optimal stimulation without the extra wear and tear.
Uh-huh. It's like having a mini architect for your muscles. The idea is to strategically use metabolic stress, which is a different mechanism than just mechanical tension from heavy
Yeah,
weights.
exactly. And then there's the whole discussion on exercise selection. BFR training shines with single joint isolation exercises. That way, you can restrict one specific muscle, right?
Yep, exactly. When you use isolation exercises like biceps curls, leg extensions, or similar moves, you get that precise application of the hypoxic stress. Compound movements can work too, but keeping control becomes trickier with them due to the restricted blood flow.
I see your point. Now, I recall seeing a comparison table between traditional hypertrophy training and BFR training. It highlighted differences like load percentages, joint stress, session duration, and recovery times. Those numbers really drive home how BFR is more efficient.
Definitely. Traditional training usually works with 65-85% of your 1 rep max and takes like 45 to 75 minutes per session with long recovery periods, versus BFR training with only 20-30% of your 1 rep max in sessions that can be 15-30 minutes long. It's a game changer for saving time while still delivering strong muscle gains.
Yeah, that efficiency is incredible. What really blows my mind is the claim that using BFR could almost triple the recovery enhancement compared to conventional training. The difference in recovery times, like 24-48 hours versus 48-72 hours, means you can train more frequently, right?
Oh, absolutely. And this is especially beneficial for athletes who need to balance performance and recovery. The efficiency revolution here isn't just about saving minutes, it's about optimizing your training cycle overall.
For sure. I also love how the method has real-world success stories. A 42-year-old professional regaining muscle post-surgery, a 68-year-old teacher avoiding shoulder pain, and a competitive runner maintaining upper body strength. It really shows the method's versatility.
Yes, those anecdotes are powerful. They add a tangible human element to the science behind BFR. Each story underscores not just the muscle gains, but improved recovery and overall joint health.
Definitely inspiring. Still, I have a little concern. Don't you think we need more long-term data on, say, the cardiovascular effects, especially when you do these restriction sessions frequently?
You raise a good point there. While current research shows that when performed correctly, BFR training poses no greater risk than conventional exercise, it's crucial that people adhere closely to recommended protocols. Ongoing studies are definitely needed to ensure long-term safety.
Right, ongoing research is key. And what about the future? Do you think there's potential for even more refined BFR protocols? Or like new equipment developments that might make it even more accessible?
Definitely. The science is evolving quickly. We're already seeing improvements in cuff technology and pressure monitoring, which could further minimize risks while maximizing training benefits. Plus, as more peer-reviewed studies confirm its effectiveness, I wouldn't be surprised if BFR training becomes a staple across all types of training programs.
Yeah, that future looks really promising. It almost feels like we're at the cusp of a training revolution where smart techniques replace brute force. It's efficiency combined with science.
Exactly. It's like a marriage of physiology and innovation. Instead of relying on heavy weights that can wear you down or risk joint damage, BFR offers a refined approach, one that, when done right, can help nearly anyone. From rehab patients to elite athletes, reach their muscle-building goals faster and safer.
Right, it's impressive. And, the incorporation of proper instruction and a gradual mindful start is really at the heart of it. The importance of working with professionals when starting out can't be overstated. Safety is paramount.
Absolutely. That's the takeaway. With the right guidance, equipment, and adherence to safety protocols, blood flow restriction training can unlock muscle gains and recovery benefits that traditional training methods struggle to match.
Yep, that's a wrap on this revolutionary technique.